Yes.
Not just you?
Right. I forgot to select because I was in a hurry to start that second stream last time. Whenever I selected to share the window, I forgot to select the checkbox to share audio from that window.
Alyssa, why do you have mom friends, by the way?
Because I'm a mom?
She's a mom.
Kind of dates you, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
It does. She's fair. A lot of things date me at this point. I'm like 100 years older than I actually am.
She's discussing coffee and like what the best jeans are while playing bridge with her mom friend.
I thought at least it's not that she's crocheting yet. She's
I tried crocheting once. I'm really bad at it. My fingers like that, so
yeah.
I can't either. Don't feel bad.
I'm really sad because there's some really cool patterns out there that I would love to do, but yeah.
Did you say there were some really cool patterns?
She found a great design for a scarf dog.
Oh my god! There's
it was actually like child-sized dragon that I really want to make. It's huge. It's really cool.
Yeah. So one of my friends from South Korea, she I think she knits, and she's made these really cool little stuffed little yarn creatures. They're really cute.
Huh. Well, okay, so now let's reverse ourselves back into like where we're not 60 years old, and let's get into a game because we'll still be playing it probably when we are 60.
Probably.
It's Pathfinder. That's the system we're in. 1.0, not 2.0.
Nope.
No, won't do that.
We're old school.
Old school. There comes a point in life where you just get stuck, and that's as far as you're going to progress, as far as learning things, doing things, accepting change. And I think I'm close to it right about now. So
yeah.
When they do the hologram bullshit, I am not going to jump on board. I do not want to learn that. So, anyway, so we kind of gotten to a kind of a sticky point here because we are in a place where I have lots of maps, and I produced lots of maps because I really don't know where you guys are going to go next. I have no idea. But
I don't think we know either.
Yeah, we do know that you're in Scrapwall, so we'll at least start there in today's session. Maybe doing a little bit of a review of what you guys were doing last time. Libby, can you see the letters this time on the screen? Or
yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. That's good. So last time, basically what happened is that you wrapped up defeating the Smilers. You went over to Denvaya's place to hang out for a bit, and then you went over to, I believe you did that, yes. And then you had another little argument with your group, and after that, there was meat skewers from a street vendor that everyone got to enjoy for breakfast, and then you decided, hey, let's kill some stuff. And that means that you went over to the Steelhawks and you liberated the Steelhawks from their leader.
Excuse me.
Birdfoot.
Excuse me. We tried to be diplomatic. All he had to do was come down. We didn't have to kill him. He chose that route. Okay?
He did choose that route. I'll let you in on something. I think that it wasn't a half orc. That orc maybe helped him choose what was going on there. So
yeah, I wish I could have got them to figure out what was going on with that, but
well,
that orc was not the scary part of the battle.
No,
weirdly enough, bird food was the scary part.
Bird food running out of arrows was probably the best thing that could have happened. Or bows, yeah, no arrows. Why would he be shooting bows? Why did I correct myself? Anyway, could you strike that from the record on the
I
recording thingy bopper?
I cannot.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm sure you'll figure out a way to do that. So anyway, strike that from the record. He was shooting arrows, not bullets, and he ran out. And that was the best thing that could have happened that whole combat. Because then he had to use a longsword, which he was still good at. But he wasn't able to kill like a person around with it, at least. So yeah. You guys did excellent, by the way, tactically in that combat. And just like how you work together, you guys did a really, really good job. So I have to say I think that was super duper good. And it shows some progress there of how the group works together and stuff too. So,
honestly, other than Kylan like dying before he managed to get to bird food, we were doing pretty well. Just
right. Well, and then there was Delstrya kind of like dying too.
And Alpion.
And then there was Alpion almost dying too.
Hey, he was at like 7 hit points. He was fine.
No, he went down.
No, he definitely almost died before you healed him.
He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, we all took a lot of damage from that gravity bow.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, that is a great spell. If Delstrya ever wants to try to find a way to get that on an item or something where she could use that once a day or twice a day, that really does help to do a lot more damage. So cool. All right. So with bird food dead, your next, I think the next thing that you guys were planning, and I'm not trying to tell you what you're doing, but you were going to get a hold of Sevroth Slade at the gatehouse, I believe, which is location B on the map. And you're going to go and speak with her, I believe.
That's what I was going to suggest we do.
Yeah. It's not even noon yet. You've just had your meat breakfast and killed the smilers that remained.
Also,
opposing you.
So Doug, I don't know if you've looked at the loot sheet.
There's a loot sheet
from sessions 12 and 13.
Shoot, heck, that was something I wanted to do, but I did not because I forgot all about it. Here we go. There we go. I'm on it right now.
Okay. So down closer to the bottom, starting at line 47, 48, I have a list of items that I thought maybe we could sell in scrap wall, but I wasn't sure because of the limited gold. And then above that, I have some items that we could sell elsewhere because it would probably be too much gold for scrap wall.
Good Lord, you guys have so much money. I mean...
And then above that is stuff that we were going to keep.
Okay.
We might possibly sell the medical kit.
Yeah, who needs that?
No, wait. Not the medical kit, the medical lab.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know about that because...
Alyssa's laughing her ass off right now.
Sorry, the medical lab. Because I don't think any of us are able to use it.
No. I mean, Tor has some points in heal, right? But it's not going to make a difference. The medical lab is going to be it's going to be crafting technological items with it.
Right. But
could set it up in this area, in the nest, and then make a separate slade like craft things. I'm assuming she has somebody who can use it.
We could give it to Denvaya. I don't know if she's able to craft.
She could. She
has better things to do with her time.
Like make a golem.
Yeah.
Let's check here and see with medical labs. I would tell you, something. The lab is not. I mean, that's something that could be valuable for sure. And I would say that it's probably, even though it's something that maybe Denvaya could not use, if you make your way back to Torch, or if you keep that in the resistance that might be forming, I bet you there'd be somebody there that could use that later on, and they could actually produce technological devices from that.
Okay.
So it depends how much you like what.
Well, the medical lab is only to produce
pharmaceuticals,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. But the pharmaceuticals are where you get the injectables that can do some pretty cool spell-like effects.
Okay.
They're just expensive as hell.
Good deal. And then there were a few things that I didn't have prices for.
Answer you, by the way, on the selling elsewhere, I think you could sell all that stuff that is the sell elsewhere. You could actually sell all that except for the laser rifle. You could sell that the laser rifle and the wand of exhaustion. Those two you could not sell because of the amount per unit that's going to be so high. Like even the scroll of animate dead, the two of them, the total gold being 375, right? That's not per.
Right, that's total.
Yeah. So you should be able to sell that just fine. And the gunslinger pistols, if you sell them here, they will definitely get used again. Some gang member will get them and start shooting people with them. So
and then we'll just get them again, and then we'll resell them again.
And then you'll recycle them.
We'll just keep
yeah.
Infinite money is what I'm hearing. Yes.
Okay, so let me take those.
Yeah, that's like exploited.
So let me. Whoops.
I just love the idea of you guys setting up like the stand out there, just with the 12 pistols on them and a few other things. Some of the drugs. By the way, where did the drugs go? Where are you gonna sell the drugs?
Those are in the.
Oh, there they are. They're in the unknown area. There. Okay.
Those are still up for debate.
Yeah, those are in the sell here section, but I don't know.
Yes, love it. They have a value of 200 gold each.
I know, but someone in our party is very against the idea of us selling them. So.
200 each.
Selling drugs. 200 each.
Okay, let me make a
insane.
Before we go off and do anything, we need to heal because we did not heal at the end of our last session, and some of our characters are not looking great. Me, I'm not looking great.
And Kylon not looking great.
Yeah. I'm not either.
Yeah, no one is except for maybe Tor. And Tor took a lot of damage, but he's got healed up mostly. So, okay. Yeah, I think that is a good idea. The bad thing is that Kylon's touching self ability is all exhausted. And
it's
okay. We have spells.
We do. We have spells, but
yeah, I think we're basically on you guys as far as the spells and wands go, because I think these guys both are exhausted with their abilities. Tor used Cure Moderate Wounds 3 times on that combat.
That was a rough combat, man.
Yeah. Let me hold on. Let me try to get this spreadsheet ready for us.
It's really good, by the way, Libby. Thank you for your work on that. It looks really good.
It doesn't take a lot of time. It's fine.
Well, it can kind of be tedious, the little stuff there that you're doing. So, but look how much gold you have now, especially when you sell the drugs.
Yeah.
Another 2,700 in your pocket.
Okay, so the vials of soothe. Let me cut that and paste it up here.
Cut it like if you're cutting drugs. Are you trying to make it go further? Is that what it is?
We'll have it and sell them at 150 each.
Yeah, there you go.
Hold on, I'm trying to.
And you are doing half value on everything as you're selling them, right? Except for the things that you should not do half value on would be the gems, jewels, gold pieces, obviously, because you're not selling them. And then like silver discs, you should be able to get full value on silver discs.
Right. Well, I don't know. I just want to make sure.
on the silver discs especially, because
Yeah,
that's pretty much
yeah,
current.
no.
You know.
How much were the fire opals worth each?
Let's check here and see.
Just to make sure I didn't do that. Now, what I'm doing for the wands is I'm taking the full price, dividing it by 50 to get the amount per charge.
Right.
And then multiplying that amount times the number of charges, and then dividing that in half. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely correct. Is the most correct that you could get.
Without it being a fully loaded wand. So.
Right. Let's see here with the fire opals. The garnets were 300 gold piece each, and the fire opals were 100 gold piece each. So I think you did that correct with the value on the fire opals.
So fire opals were 100 each, and the
garnets were 300 each.
Oh, where'd the garnets go?
I might have told you incorrectly on the value of one of those too, but it's supposed to be 300 each. So if it's messed up, it might be on my side.
Hold on, let me put this on my bigger monitor.
Oh, they're near the bottom. They're line 67.
Oh, there they are, large garnets. Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so those look like those are correct. Yep. Perfect. Yep. So sell gems, jewelry at full price. Gold pieces, obviously, they're going to be fine. Silver discs, full price, and then anything else would be half for a very quick trade. And then whenever you get those pistols back, you'll be able to resell those again and again and again. So that'll be awesome. So you have a good strategy there. So it looks like Sevroth Slade could use some of that soothe herself by the look of her. She looks kind of rough. She's been in this place a long time. There she is.
Okay, so just to kind of give us the numbers. From selling all those items that I have listed down there, we will each get 2,345 gold, 12 silver, and 2 copper.
Oh, sweet.
And then up at the very top, I have the platinum, the gold, the silver, and the silver disc divided out separately. And that's in line number 8. So 18 silver disc, 2 platinum, 34 gold, and 66 silver.
Okay. That's awesome.
So I'm going to color those just so we know that we need to add those to our sheets, those amounts.
Okay, wonderful. Wow. Okay, they are both very close, actually, both of those guys, to getting adamantine weapons then, which will be great. Although Kylon will not be replacing his father's sword, of course.
Of course not.
Sorry. Give me that number one more time.
Oh yeah, no problem. I haven't put it on my sheet yet. Either. So from the actual money that was found, 18 silver disc, 2 platinum pieces, 34 gold, and 66 silver. And then from selling everything that we can sell here, it's 2,345 gold, 12 silver, and 2 copper. I'll have to add those. I'll have to add those to my sheet soon also. Okay, let me check my... Okay, day 23. Let me check my spells. So I've used both of my level 2 spells. Okay, I have 3... Oh, well, I cast Cure Mod Wounds twice on Tor.
Yeah.
And Cure Light Wounds once on Kylon. Okay, so I have 3 level 1 spells. Or, sorry, I have My numbers changed, I think. I have 4 more level 1 spells. So
Okay.
who needs to be healed?
I'd say you guys start with the 2 of you on healing, and I am looking at like where they're going to spend their money too, because I think it'd be great if each one of them actually should have a cure light wounds wand. They could afford one, each one of them, with their leftover gold. So
yeah. So the stuff that we're keeping, we're gonna have to figure out who's gonna hold it. So we have 5. Well, so there's the 1 cure moderate wound potion that Tor still has left from the Smilers, but we have 4 cure moderate wound potions that we got from the last battles.
And there was one before that Kylon never even used. So I have them each as having 1 cure moderate, and each one of them, Tor has 2 cure light, and Kylon has 1 cure light wounds potion also.
Okay, so they both. Okay, I thought Kylon used both of his.
Healing potions. Right. So I'm going to set aside 3,000 gold, each one of them that have not been spending any gold, and for a mithril weapon on each one, or not mithril, my God, adamantine weapon.
I understand. Yes.
Yes. And then each one of them will have about 800 gold pieces left. And I'm thinking that maybe spending that gold on things that would be good for the group would be probably what each one of them would do, like some potions of remove blindness, maybe. I mean, I don't know if you ever would need that, but or delay poison or something like that, might be what they do. Maybe buy a few potions. By the way, now would be a good time to bring up that handy, very vital equipment list that I sent on to everyone with some really good ideas for spending some money just in case things happen. I think remove blindness might have been on there. Listen, I can see you rolling your eyes from here. As a matter of fact, I can feel them without even seeing.
We should have been fine. Okay. Poor bear.
Poor bear.
Cannot roll.
Yeah, I think he rolled a 2 on that saving throw, and that was his best save. Yeah. So, okay. Well, all right, cool. So, anyways, that stuff is not in hand, though. I mean, you guys aren't doing shopping, are you? In the middle of the day, or are you going to go shopping before you go to see Sevroth?
I don't think we need to buy anything here. I don't know if they would have anything, but I was just for the loot that we have. I didn't know if we wanted to figure out who's carrying some of these things, just in case.
That's a really good
something
question.
happens.
Yeah, looking at that, I think that's a really good point, actually, Libby. I would say if it's heavy and it's not worth a lot, or even if it's heavy and worth a lot, I would say that Tor would be happy to carry about anything.
Well, I mean, it's not heavy, but it's like spells that are potions or that do damage. So
yeah, I'm seeing
just
that,
to know
like
who's carrying, like who's carrying some of these things, just in case we encounter something.
Well, do you want to divide up the gas grenades and fuse grenades at least, since there's 4 and 8 of those? Or are you more likely to be throwing those, do you think, Delstrya?
Oh, we can divide those. That's fine.
Well, before we divide, does Tor have an issue with throwing grenades? No, I want to know before I give him a grenade and him go, it's not honorable to throw
No, I don't think you would have an issue with throwing the grenade as long as the grenade, you knew that there was a combat going on and he was encountering someone. Now, if it was a sneaky grenade throw, like while someone's like in a porta potty or something, and he's just throwing it in the top of it or something and through the window of the house, that wouldn't be good. That would be very dishonorable.
If I declare I'm throwing a grenade, I should be fine. Okay.
You have to yell "grenade" as you're throwing it, so they know it's coming.
Yes, you have to warn them beforehand, so it's fair. How about the bottled lightning? That's the same kind of thing, right? That does electricity.
Yeah, there's 4 of those. So do we want to each take one of those?
Robots are sometimes very susceptible to electricity damage, which is pretty interesting. So,
all right, so that's 1 bottled lightning. How many grenades?
So 1 bottled lightning, 1 gas grenade, and 2 fuse grenades. All right, hold on here. Let me bottled lightning, gas grenade.
Let's see here.
So those fuse grenades, I just want to make sure I know how they work.
Yep.
The fuse grenades, you basically pop the top of it, and then
and then
does it go off the next round?
I think it is a random 1d3 rounds later. Let's check here and see. I think that's what I was rolling with those, is that some of them were never actually going off by the time that you killed people, because it is a random amount of time. Let's check and see. Yeah, it is you lighting it as a move action, which you don't need any special tools or anything, and then it's a random roll of 1d3 rounds later, the grenade explodes.
Okay.
So it's probably best not to wait 2 rounds and then throw it, because it'll likely just blow up in your hands.
1, 2, 5.
Boom. Yep.
3, sir. 3.
3. Yes, 3. Yes. Lesser restoration potions, the neat thing about them is that they don't take 3 rounds to cast. Whereas if you're casting that spell, especially in combat, it takes 3 rounds. So those are pretty cool that they exist, because you just have to drink them as a standard action. I don't think, honestly, out of everything else there, as far as the consumables, I don't think the guys would really use it.
Okay, so Alyssa, to you and to me both here. Oh, my horse is in the way on my sheet. Let's move you down, horse.
Your horse
is on my sheet showing stuff on my character sheet. I need to move it down a few lines. Oh. Okay. All right.
Like
1.
Libby has a horse on her computer.
That's cool.
Okay. 1 acid flask.
All right.
1 alchemical fire flask. 1 lesser restoration potion. I figure you and I will just split these 4 things. And then 1 blur potion. And then if later during battle we need to transfer stuff. What about these alchemy kits? How much are those worth, Doug? I didn't have a price on those.
I think it's, let's check here and see. Masterwork.
Because like what I found didn't seem right.
Oh, I hear you there. Let's see here. And it might, sometimes it's funny because even in the adventure path, sometimes there's things that are just written incorrectly. Like an alchemist kit is 40 gold.
Yes.
And masterwork would be usually another 150 gold onto that. So let's say 190 gold. And the masterwork status of that will basically give you another +2 whenever using it. So whenever you're doing any kind of craft alchemy checks, you will be getting a +2 to the check.
But none of us can.
None of you craft alchemy.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
Do we want to sell those, Alyssa?
Yes.
I would say absolutely. I could not see Tor having the patience for it, and or Kylon, either one of them.
So it'd be 190 total for both of those.
Sweet.
Are we able to sell those here or somewhere else?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Anything that's like I'd say 300 or 400 gold or lower, you'll be able to sell per unit. Absolutely. It's just the really expensive stuff that you just, like if it's the wand that's 1,500 or 2,000 gold, like that just is not going to have a market here.
Okay, so that's going to be 47 gold and 5 silver.
Okay. Perfect. Wonderful. And how about that fire extinguisher? Which one of you is going to be set on fire next?
Probably could have done all this over chat during the week, but who's going to be set on fire next? Oh, probably Tor. No.
Probably. Yeah, probably. As far as reflex saves, he has the lowest in the group at a +3. So he probably will. Nope. Sorry. Kylan also only has a +3. Both of them are very slow.
Well, I have a 10 and I still got on fire.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
I think at the time it was a 9, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that other stuff, I mean, if you guys would like to carry it or if you want them to have it, just let me know. And
the rest of the stuff is just gonna, I guess, just kind of be in our inventory, just kind of.
Well, who can cast grease?
I can cast grease.
So I think you should have that. And sound burst, I think, is also something you could cast. So you should probably have that. And mount, that might be something, honestly, that Sunny can cast. I don't know if that's just an arcane spell or if it's something that is divine also with mount. I'm not sure. That might be on the hunter list.
No, it's not.
It's not, okay.
Literally nothing's on the hunter list.
Let me see.
Are you finding that out about your character?
I really am. Like
nothing is on the list.
My casting ability is super slim, so no.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sound burst is on my list.
Oh, okay, good. Yep. Mm-hmm. And wand of mount, I don't think it's on anybody's list then. I think it's gonna be wizard.
Mount is not on my list.
Yeah. So that one is kind of just useless all around unless you use a use magic device check to use mount. And the good thing is, you would never do that in combat. So you could wave it around and try it enough times that eventually it'll work. So whoever has a good use magic device could have that, which would be, of course, spellcraft. So if you have a high spellcraft, that would be what we're looking for.
Yeah. You also have 1 elixir of fire breath.
Ooh. Pour that down the bear.
I know. I so want to have a little fire breathing bear. And
the facial expressions of Alyssa tonight are just priceless.
And 1 flash powder.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I'll go ahead and carry that white access card because I think Alyssa already has the other one. Is that correct?
I think so. Definitely the guys don't. And then why don't you take the wand of mount also?
I do not have a white one. I have a black one and a brown one.
We got a white one inside the...
There was a white one that you went beep boop with, I think, to go into that very last chamber where you almost got killed by...
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe you were just giving it temporarily or whatever. Maybe it never made it to your sheet.
It just didn't get put on the sheet, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, I was sidetracked by the fact that I booped into a room and almost died.
It almost died.
One of the guys can carry the fire extinguisher.
Okay, we're gonna give that to Tor.
And Alyssa, you want to carry the batteries?
Sure, I can carry batteries. How many?
8
8.
8
batteries. Perfect.
Okay. I'm just kind of coloring things to show that we have them on our sheets now.
Yeah, that looks good. So
the medical kit. Oh wait, the cure moderate wounds potions. I'm sorry. Was we had 4 of those to divvy up.
I would say don't give it to the guys necessarily, but you know, if you have enough of them, I guess you could. But
Okay.
they have 1 each, so
they're probably.
you want to give another one to Tor? That would be fine.
Yeah, I'm probably least likely to take damage during combat, even though last session would go against that.
I agree, though. I agree.
So who was that? Kylan has 1. So Alyssa, why don't you take 2 of them?
That was Cure Light Wounds.
Cure Moderate.
Cure Moderate, just carry.
And I'll take 1 just to carry it, just in case. And I can always give that over during battle if need be. Oh, my poor character sheet is so full.
Oh, that's wonderful, though.
And then we have so things to sell somewhere else are the Wand of Exhaustion, the Time-Worn Laser Rifle, and the Vials of Soothe.
Do you want to just say that Tor carries all that stuff? Because he'd be a good pack mule, so he'll carry all that stuff by default.
So you said 200 gold each. Is that how much they sell for, or how much they're worth?
That's the value before. Yeah, that's the
okay,
retail
so 100
value
each.
half of that. Still 2,700 gold if you're going to sell those, preferably to small children. You know, and tell them, child, here's what you need to do: take off your lip and then put it on your lip.
Yep. Oh, we have a medical kit. We'll just throw that in Tor's bag, I guess.
Tor is carrying it. Yep, Tor will carry that.
And the medical lab, do we want to leave that with Dinvaya for now, or put it into the Hawk's Nest?
That could go to Dinvaya. I wouldn't leave it with the Smilers. Or, I mean, not the Smilers, the Steelhawks. I mean, it'd be probably better with Dinvaya since it's technology.
So that if we need to use it later or something, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So, are we ready to start?
Yes.
Cool. So, you had just cleared out the Steelhawk's lair, the Hawk's Nest, and your allied archers that you went with the day before to take out the Smilers were not in that group, which is great. It was mainly orcs that were guarding, and just 2 archers that were coupled up there with bird food. So you have what?
It was so epic. Sorry.
I'm like, really? Okay. So you have been able to take out bird food, and you were able to actually go through the Hawk's Nest and get any kind of remaining loot that was the Hawk's Nest. And where they went, who knows, but they're no longer there. With that being said, you did have a deal to turn over the Hawk's Nest to Sevroth Slade. She is in location B. You are in location D right now. So it's not even lunch yet. You do all of your best work before lunch.
We do.
We like to go eat and drink. And,
yes, the afternoon is for relaxing. The first 3 hours of the day, you do all of your work and killing. You've spent probably about 30 minutes or so, like healing up, which if you want to heal up, you just, we're just going to kind of bypass that because I don't think there's going to be another combat today, knowing your group. Oh, once again,
You never know who's going to run into us in the town. So I cast Cure Light Wounds twice on myself.
I'm not sure that I'm
You don't want to go around with 10 hit points left?
I don't. I'm not
Okay. All right. Darn it. Okay. Well, all right. We will heal then. Good Lord. Does somebody have a little healing stick that they can use?
Well, I had 4 spells that I can use, so let me. All right.
I think we're a little bit further along than 4 spells as far as damage.
All right, Sunny.
What's up? Sunny's taking care of herself. Wait, no.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Okay. No, I'll take it because that puts me at full.
I'll take it. No, I'll take it. Can you see that happening in character?
Okay, I guess I'll take it. All right, casting on Bear.
Look, there's a little munchkin there.
There's a little munchkin there.
I'm down by 8, so I'll go ahead and use my last spell on myself. Perfect. 13. I'm good.
How do you have 13 on a Cure Light Wounds?
I rolled an 8 and I'm level 5.
Oh, that is maximum. Oh my gosh, that is maximum. That's why it's green, Doug. That's green. Green is maximum. Okay, got it.
That's amazing.
That's amazing how that works.
Good healing.
Good too.
I mean, wow. Really good healing. Like,
you guys are really.
What did I say?
Doing
oh, we both just got maximum on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys are doing really good on your healing.
All right, so Bear and Sunny are officially full up. Do we need boys? Or the boys? Because I think I'm out of spells.
I'm out of spells.
Yeah, there's gonna be about 30 down for Kylon.
30.
Oh wait, I have one more. Here.
Do you remember where Kylon was at the end of combat?
Kylon was like unconscious and used hero points.
And he had to spend healing. He had to use 2 hero points so he wouldn't die.
It's very sad.
Okay, that's right.
That's right.
Kylon. Kylon can heal 11 points, Doug.
Okay, good.
All right, I'll use my Cure Light Wounds wand on Kylon.
Breaking out the big dog.
6. Well, that's a +5 on that. So, but it would be a +1, so just 6.
Yeah. Okay. Still hurt.
Do it again. 8.
Okay. Let's see here. That is 19, 20. Okay, one more should do him up. Get him all healed up. Alyssa's typing. She's typing and typing.
9.
And healed. Perfect. And the Tor is just down 12, so he's not down very much.
I'm good. I still have 33 charges on my wand.
Okay.
What about Tor? I'm sorry.
Tor's down 12.
Let me do him 1. 6.
Okay. So he's just down 6 points if you want to worry about it. If not, that's okay.
We'll worry about it if we need to.
Okay. Yeah. Just a little hurt. Yep. Okay. Let's do that. 6. There we go. All right. There we go. Okay. So you guys are healed up. You have secured the Hawk's Nest. What would you like to do next?
I think we were going to go talk to Sevroth.
Okay. All right. So moving back across the Steelhawks territory, you notice that the remaining Steelhawks they give you a very wide berth. As a matter of fact, they kind of run away from you as you're walking through the territory. It seems like your Scrapworth has gone before you and told the story about your victory. Scrapworth being whispered by citizens about your deeds and the things that you were able to accomplish. just after a few days of being in Scrapwall, and you see the looks of all the Steelhawks that are still left, not knowing maybe like who is their boss and not knowing how you're going to respond to them. Both those things added together, they are running, and you can see.
Oh.
It's Libby that's frozen.
You froze on me.
No, you froze on me.
You know,
I saw Alyssa moving around just fine the whole time. Did you see Alyssa?
No.
There you go.
So you said we've been here.
We know who the freezer is here.
We said we've been here for like a few days. Yeah, we've only been here, I think, like
3 days.
21, 22, 23. We're on our third day in Scrapwall.
Yep.
We've already taken
at this rate. We'll just take out all of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, give it a whole week. Everybody will be dead in the whole town. Everybody,
we like Zendaya.
Right. Yeah, she can stick around.
Exactly.
All right. So, anyways, you make it across the territory here for the Steelhawks and down to the guard station at the city wall, and Sevroth comes out. Look, you can see that she's on top of one of the buildings up here that you were fighting on previously when you first came in, and she comes climbing down and comes out to meet you in the courtyard behind the guard station. And she looks just as delightful and happy as she used to be. Last time you defeated her in combat and she kind of had a snarl on her face. Now she has a snarl of, you think, uncertainty on her face as she comes out, and there's 3 or 4 archers that you could see moving around on the rooftop still, but she's the only one on the ground level that comes down to meet you guys. She doesn't have a weapon drawn. That would be silly. She is a brawler. She uses her fists anyways. She comes out though, and as she draws closer to you, she kind of stops when she's about 30 feet away, and gives each one of you a look back and forth, nods to herself, and then she says, "Well," she says, "looks like you did it. Followed up with your end of the bargain."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took care of bird food like you asked us to. Question though. Orcs.
She says, yeah. She says, the orcs, she says, they weren't around until bird food took over. They're from the Lords of Rust.
That explains it, because it seemed like bird food was taking orders from one of the orcs.
She nods. She says, yeah. She says, that's exactly what was happening. She says, so she takes a few steps closer. She says, tell me about Morrow. She says, I heard that was a fight too that you went through. She says, you aren't crusaders, are you? Seems like you're turning this whole place upside down. What are you looking for?
Why do people keep asking this? We told you this when we came in. All I want to do is go talk to Hellion. Not my fault that every time I'm like, take me to Hellion. And you're like, go kill this person. Go kill this person.
Tor's like, shh. And he pats Sunny on the back. Pats you on the back. Kylon looks around nervously. He's like, My gosh, I've never heard her lash out that way before. Oh, the true character finally comes out. Sevroth kind of one eyebrow raises and then lowers, and she says, okay, and I told you that I could tell you all about him. I could tell you all about, well, at least the lieutenants that work for him, because I haven't ever seen Hellion. But I know that he comes in on the monitors throughout his base. He's a demon of some sort. He gives power even to his worshippers. Somebody I wouldn't mess with. But doing what you're doing already, she shrugs. She says, maybe you can turn the rest of the town upside down. You can get an audience with him.
So, out of character, do we need to be up to level 6 before we go try to take on Hellion? Do we need to
you want to spend some hero points for GM advice? Because that is an option with hero points,
Okay. No. So out of character, I feel like spending another level worth of time in this town is going to be a lot of time. I'm not sure we're going to hit level 6. I think we're fine. All we do is get my evil.
Well, what I saw from this book when I was looking up some of the
What are you looking into the book for, you cheaty pants?
When I was looking up loot that was specific to this, it said that this book was a level 5 through 7.
Well, that's what you can assume. Maybe
and it's titled
changes to it.
And it's titled Lords of Rust. So I assume this entire book probably takes place in Scrapwall.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? You putting your 2 and 2 together. So tricky, Libby. Okay. Sevroth says, she says, do you want to go somewhere and talk about this? Maybe over an ale? She says, I could tell you all about them.
Well, you said the magic word for Sunny.
I was gonna say, ooh, drinks.
Yep. She says, all right. She says, good. She says, I can tell you all about them. She says, but someplace private. She says, seems like people who go talking on too much about Hellion, they kind of disappear. But I'm a woman of my word, and I'll tell you whatever you need to know. She says, especially since now we're allies, your gang and mine.
Are you taking the Steelhawks back over?
She says that was part of our deal, right? You weren't going to brush in on them. You can have the Smilers if you'd like.
Well, the Smilers are no more, but I just wanted to make sure that you were going to be taking the Steelhawks back over, that nobody was going to be trying to take power from you again.
She says, I will. She says, I've already started spreading the word around this entire territory. The Steelhawks will be mine. all 20 of them that are left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have some good men. The archers that went with us were
brave.
We're good guys.
We're brave. She says, what we'll do is we'll put a foothold here, she says, in the entry point into Scrapwall, and then we'll start heading east, up through the territory of the Smilers. She says, we'll expand through their territory. Hopefully we'll be able to make peace with the Red Tooth Raiders. She says they haven't been all that bad in the past. She is going to start going towards the boarding house that you stayed in the very first night. You don't remember there being much of a bar there, but at least you know that it's somewhat familiar, and it's defensible. She says,
since we're headed that way, can we check on our horses too? I'm sure they're fine, but
absolutely. Oh God, I'm sure they're fine. Hold on.
They better be fine.
Yep, they're doing just fine. They're all outside, still in the hitching post area. As you come forward, oh my gosh, I can't remember my NPC's name. So what was her name?
Hold
Ilma.
on.
Ilma Watsy. Ilma waves at you. She says, "Hi, y'all." She says, "Yep." She says, "We've been taking good care of them, especially the money you spent for them. We made sure that they're really well tended to. We've taken them on little walks around and stuff too. Got a little bit of the exercise." She says, "But she says each one of these horses," she says, "very fine creatures." She says, "I'd buy them off of you if you were willing to sell."
Well, we're going to need them.
She says, "Oh," she says, "well," she says, "from the sounds of it," she says, "you're going to have control of the whole town here pretty soon." She says, "You just remember Elma here. If you need anything in the future, I would love to help out." She says, I know everybody. She says, "I know everybody. I even know some pathways that you can use at night to avoid the manticore and those other beasts that come swooping down from the sky."
Wait, what other beasts that come at night?
She says, "Well, the bat things, the things with the leathery wings that swoop down with the manticore when it's hunting." She says, "seem to work with it."
Are they...
Sevroth nods her head. She says, "Okay, good, Ilma. You tend to your business. We need to go inside." And with that, Ilma says, "All right now." She says, "Now, if you need anything," she says, "I'll be right here." She says, "I'm making some of my sun tea out here." She says, "It's out here, going to be ready here in a little bit."
Love some sun tea.
Winged thralls. That sounds like a good thing if they're winged thralls. I wish I had a winged thrall.
I mean, that's what the other group fought the other night that didn't do anything and just kind of flew around and like...
What other group?
Her D&D group.
It's a terrible group.
That doesn't count as a group. So this is a real group. That is a fake group.
They want to start a second campaign.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, yeah, we will not mention such a false group during this group. So Sevroth Slade, she goes inside first. She looks around and shakes her head. She says, "It's just as shitty as I remember it in here." She says, "Well," she says, "I know where she hides the good stuff." And she goes over to a corner and peels back a metal chunk of the wall and reaches in and gets out a what looks to be some whiskey in a jug, which she sets down on the table. She says, "Okay." She says, "Let's see here. Do you have anything to drink from?" Looks around again. She says, "Okay." And then she reaches down and she goes through a cupboard and she pulls out these mismatching, some metal, some wooden drinking cups of different sizes, and then she just starts pouring whiskey into each one. She says, "What do you want to know first?" She sits down, stretches. She says, "I've been able to get a good eye on each one of the Lords of Rust over time." She says, "Can tell you she says, they're not a group that you want to mess with. And they're not going to fight fair unless they have to. I mean, you have some reputation, but you haven't been here long enough yet. You haven't had the scrap worth to be able to challenge them and have them actually follow through with the challenge honorably. At this point, they're just going to gang up on you."
I'm just going to point out that your scrap work system is kind of skewed. It's not like we've taken out 2 of the gangs here already or anything. We have a whole 5 scrap work.
She shrugs. She says, "Scrap worth is what it is. If you were living here for a few years and you had a big reputation," she says, "a real long history of treating people a certain way, it'd probably go quicker, but you're still outsiders." She says, "Possibly you could move in here for a while, get settled after a year or 2 here." She says, "You could probably do whatever you'd want."
No. Thank you, though.
She says, let's talk about the Lords of Rust.
How many lieutenants are there?
Let's see here. I've got to count.
Always good.
She says 6.
Oh, that number is significantly lower than I thought you were going to say. Okay.
She says 6 lieutenants. She says, but Mayanda, she left here a little while ago. She's never come back. She says that was actually the priestess. She's the one that kind of organized the whole bunch of them. Was the spokesperson.
So if I told you that I killed Mayanda, can I get more scrap worth for that? Or do I need like proof? She
shrugged. She says, well, if you have her, maybe if you have her body to drag in here.
Oh my God, I'm not carrying the body around.
Kylon looks at you and he says, we already did carry the body around. Remember? We had to float with it up through the water and it got snagged on that one piece of metal. I had to rip off that chunk of metal. Shakes his head.
I know.
She says, anyways, she says the acolytes of Hellion, she says, those are the ones that Mayanda actually controlled, had her thumb on them the whole time. Acolytes, though, she says, they were in charge of the receiver array. That's where they were holed up. For some reason, he kept a lot of people over there. Well, she says, seems like the Lords of Rust took out the acolytes, so maybe they turned against Hellion. Maybe something happened, but here recently, just a little while before you guys went into town here, made yourself so well known. She says they were taken out. She says now there's a band of the acolytes still there in the receiver array. She says might be worth talking to, might not. She says, but whoever's there is just a skeleton group. She says the acolyte that was there, that was actually a lieutenant, was taken out. And that one I don't have on the death list as far as who it was. God, there's so many people that get killed in this game. What a violent game. Let's see here. Hold on here. Nope, no name, although it will come up one. The other thing with this book is it is organized like crap, because I remember reading specifically about the person, but then they're gone. So anyways, one more lieutenant was in charge of the acolytes of Hellion, and that gang was taken out, and that lieutenant was killed before you guys came, which you knew about that already. You'd heard that when you first came in town, actually.
So
there's 4 left?
Theoretically, get to the receiver ring without...
No, Libby, to answer your question, that would have been an additional acolyte that she did not mention. She mentioned there were 6 of them, and she included Mayanda.
Oh, okay. Oh, 5 left.
She says, what's that again? Looks over at you, take a shot of whiskey, looking over at Sunny.
Could we theoretically get to the receiver array without going through Hellion first?
She nods. She says, doubt that you're going to even get to meet Hellion. What I understand, he's actually underground underneath the Scrapmaster arena. He never shows his face except for through those monitors. She says, in the Scrapmaster arena, big domed building. She says, inside of it is where they do the fighting games. She says, sometimes for sport, but always for blood. She says, other times just a punishment. She says, where they do executions. She says, so the Scrapmaster arena, every couple of days, what happens is the Lords of Rust actually invite people who have caught their attention to audition for membership into the gang. That's a good way actually to get in there, because otherwise the whole place is pretty much empty. She says, those that get auditioned usually fight against prisoners of theirs that are captured. She says, sometimes, Hellskarg herself actually gets involved. She's one of the lieutenants.
Hellskarg.
Hellskarg, she nods. She says she's a troll.
Oh my god.
She says, really big, really mean. She says, uses like a grappling hook. Usually rides around in a throughout the entire arena also. Never fights fair. If somebody joins into the gang and she lets them live, well, it's because she lets them live. But anyone that goes against her, that's a prisoner, no, they don't make it through the arena. She says, but she's the one up top. She controls most of the orcs. And the orcs are going to be the ones that are actually guarding the arena and around the territory there of Hellion. She says, the Lords of Rust, they usually don't really act out. They let the other gangs do their thing. But whenever somebody crosses them, they make sure they're taken down hard. They'll send out dozens of the orcs against them. That's the whole area also where the orcs live, right around the arena through these walls.
Was Grundle a member of the Lords of Rust?
Grundle.
Grendel? Was that his name? Grendel?
I don't know. Maybe.
Who did you? Where is this person from? Oh,
That was the orc.
Gradle. Gradle, I think it was, yeah, or Gradle. Gradle. Yeah, she said, but she is going to nod her head. She says, yeah. She says, that's one of those that kept bird food in line.
So we've already killed a lot of orcs that were working with bird food. Is that going to attract the attention of Lords of Rust, or are they just not going to care?
She shrugged. She says, they probably aren't going to care, to tell you the truth. It seems like really the auditioning process is the only time that you actually see them come up out of their holes and kind of get together. She says, I wouldn't even be able to tell you even about that troll where she's at. You know, what she does besides that. It seems like she goes underground. I imagine if you wanted to face her, though, you break into that arena, you're going to end up having her and a number of others present themselves. She says, Hellskarg is kind of the face of the Lords of Rust. She guards that top side. She organizes the orcs. She says, she's one that you're going to end up having to deal with, though, eventually, if you want to go see Hellion himself. She says, Dregs is one that you're going to run into if Hellion's angry. Dregs never shows himself topside. But she says, he's kind of like the executioner. Dregs is one of those big two-headed things, a giant. She thinks about, she says an Etten? She says an Etten, that's what he's called. Uses two spike chains, just rips people apart. I've seen him pull a horse apart with each chain attached to each side. Yeah, he's one I wouldn't want to cross. If I saw him stomping around topside, everyone goes running. You
said he was an Etten?
She nods.
Okay, do we know about those, Doug? Do we need to make a knowledge check?
You can make since it is giants are knowledge local, you can make a society check to know what an Etten might be.
I have no fucking clue.
Neither do either one of your allies. Oh my god. Everyone just kind of shrugs. And Kylan's like, an Etten. He says, isn't that some kind of footwear? I think that's a type of footwear that you wear if you're going out dancing. She says, no. She says, this is not footwear. She says, this is a big, tall thing with two heads arms. She says he's really big. Really big.
Like a two-headed giant?
She nods. She says, like a two-headed giant. Yeah, a giant.
Huh.
That's what he is. It's really big. She says, then there's Kolgara. Now, Kolgara kind of seems to be acting as a commander. I've seen Kolgara walking around giving orders, even to Hellskarg. So Kolgara might actually be in a leadership role right now. And she's going to tell you about Kolgara now, which is, these are so, each one of these is just so fun. 858, let's get a good description of Kolgara. She says Kolgara is actually an orc herself. Says has a weapon on her though, just scares everybody to death whenever they hear it start up. It has these blades that swirl around it, and she holds it with two hands, swinging it back and forth. Just chews through flesh and bone like nothing's in the way of it.
Oh gosh, it's a chainsaw?
It's a fucking chainsaw.
She says, Kolgara, I've seen her actually chop through the entire body of two people with one swipe of that thing. Shakes her head. She says, I would not get in her way. She says, as a matter of fact, I think she could take down that giant with just a swipe of that weapon.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that we need to figure out how to like hit them against each other and let them duke it all out, because what the fuck, dude?
She says, and then there's Nalakai. She takes another shot.
What was that?
She says Nalakai is definitely Nalakai. Nalakai.
Nala.
Kai.
Okay.
Nalakai.
Sorry, you were kind of cutting in and out there while you were speaking.
You're cutting in and out. Nalakai is, I just love our arguments. Nalakai is a cleric. And Nalakai actually, I've seen him heal people before. I've seen him, though, put his hand on people and have them wither away to nothing. Used to be that Nalakai was kind of a quiet figure, but ever since Meanda has disappeared, he's stepped up his role, and he actually has a group of priests that actually follow him around everywhere, each one of them chanting in unison, each one of them just being able to corrupt things and wither away life. He actually came topside to execute one of the followers of Hellion. She says didn't have a chance at all, those acolytes of Hellion. He actually wiped out a whole room of them with his death magic.
Oh.
She says, but there's worse than that, actually. She says, I mean, if you can think about it. She says, there's also an assassin that Hellion uses. His name is Zagmander. I don't know anything about him other than he's red-skinned and he's not human. He's almost like an insect of some sort. Can go around wherever he wants, invisible.
Oh, great.
She says, once again, though, I don't even hear about him, really. He might have been the one that killed the lieutenant of the acolytes of Hellion and actually took him out, but I don't know. Nobody really knows about him. I just know that he exists, and the others talk about him in like hushed whispers. Nalakai acts as if he's like a force that he can summon and use against people that are the enemies of Hellion. But Zagmander, I don't know anyone that survived seeing him. He's like the local boogeyman around here. I mean, him and then the ghosts that actually are over at the haunted wreck.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What?
She says, the haunted wreck. She says, in the eastern portion of the city.
We haven't heard of this.
She says, well, there's some sort of ship or something out there. Continual mists surround it. She says anyone that goes there to try to pilfer, to try to get supplies, to try to get scrap from it, they all end up dead. She says the haunted wreck, no one touches that place, not even the Lords of Rust. So that is O and P on the map.
Mm.
She says, and then she says, of course, Hellion himself. She says, something underneath the Scrapmaster's arena. There's tunnels down there, they say. There's monitors. There's technology that still functions, and he's down below the city. Shows himself on monitors and gives his directions and orders that way, from what I understand. But from what I understand, he's a demon. A devil? She shrugs. She says, one of those things, pointed things on his head and, definitely not good. Another shot. She says, oh gosh. She says, what I'm trying to tell you is there's a few of the lieutenants, each one of them. And any one of them would match Morrow with her power. And you fought Morrow. I don't know if she was easy to kill or not, but I mean, she's somebody that was held as one of the most powerful creatures here of Scrapwall. You were able to defeat her, though. She shrugs. She says, but I'm telling you right now, imagine like 5 of them against you all at once if you don't do it right.
So, because we are allies now, in the event that we want to lead a full-on attack on the Lords of Rust, can we count on your assistance?
She laughs. She says, right. She says, yeah. She says, okay, here's another shot. And she pours more. She says, I was talking about allies and gaining power. If you haven't noticed, you had to kind of kill half of the Steelhawks. Oh, my God.
No, that's right.
Yes, it is Steelhawks. I said it right. You had to kill half of the Steelhawks before you were able to hand this back to me, the gang. She says, it's going to take months before I can muster more troops and actually bribe people to change sides, to get some of the Smilers on my team.
But this shouldn't really be an issue, because really, they're without a leader right now.
There might be 6 Smilers left anyway. I don't...
She says, that being what it is, she says, there might be some of their followers, though, still. Those that were actually friendly to the gang that we could get persuaded to join up with us, for protection with the Steelhawks.
Absolutely. And then we could team up with the other gangs of the city.
She says, you get the Red Tooth Raiders involved, and you give me a couple months to recruit. She says, we can talk about it. She says, we can actually raid that entire compound, take out the Scrapmaster arena.
Well,
she looks at you. She says, what are you in such a hurry for?
I got other stuff to do.
Alan nods. He says, we each have our own missions, and we need to get done with it before we kill each other in arguments.
Well,
exactly.
At any rate, we might have an in with the Red Tooth Raiders. We saved Whiskifist from Marrow.
She says Whiskifist, yeah. She's like, he actually was kidnapped a while ago. Mara was using him to hold something over the Red Tooth Raiders. I think as kind of an insurance policy. Huh. She says that might help out a little bit. She says if you take out that manticore, she says, it's been terrorizing the entire city. You take that out, everyone here is going to know about you. Everyone. She says, or she says the ghosts. She says, if you were able to go into that haunted area and come back, surviving it, she says, not even the Lords of Rust do that. Or she says, you know what? She says, she leans forward now, sipping on the whiskey. She says, the acolytes of Hellion. Hellion threw them off, just tossed them aside, but there's still some of them up there living. She shrugs. She says, I don't know if gaining an ally alliance. She says, teaming up. If you team up with them, she says, maybe they could help.
Out of character here. What if we end up with the manticore on a leash?
What if you rode the manticore? Like
that's right.
Yes.
Oh my god, yes. Okay. Could we possibly get to the haunted wreck safely? I feel like we're going through a lot of super dangerous territory. To the other side of the map.
She says, you're going through all sorts of dangerous territory. She says, you could take the southern route, though, during the daytime. She says, goes up that hill by the manticore's lair, but she says that might be safer. But she says, but those rust monsters are there. Shakes her head. She says, they just eat anything that's metal, get drawn out to anything that's metal.
Well, it looks like the northern route is unclaimed territory. And if the Lords of Rust aren't really out and about, walking past the Scrapmaster's arena shouldn't be a problem.
She says, probably not. She says, as a matter of fact, since she over here an M, she says the thralls of Hellion says they're not even around anymore. If anything, they're just in the receiver array. She says, so you could go through that territory, no problem. She says, most of the people that live there, though, pretty destitute. Not really the nicest people in the area. And they weren't before either. I mean, they're the kind of people that would, she shrugs. She says, they're not really respectable citizens of Scrapwall.
Respectful. I was gonna say out of character. What constitutes a respectful citizen of Scrapwall?
Okay.
Sounds like we have a few options ahead of us.
She nods. She says, yes, you do. She says, you've got several options in front of you. She says, and she says, see, I was able to help by giving you that information. So now that we're partners, one other thing that you need to know. She says, you can't be bringing any of your troubles back into the Steelhawk territory. You need to, if you're messing with Hellion, you need to keep that out of our territory. We've got to have a couple months to build up. You can't be bringing all of them down here because they're likely to take me out too, thinking that we're allies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kylan's like, but we are allies. That was the whole point. She nods. She says, sure, we're allies. Sure. But I need to get time. I need to have time. I need to put together all my people. I need to do some recruiting.
I totally understand that we're allies, but we're not allies. I get it.
She pours you some more whiskey. She nods. She says, there you go. She says, I'm not really an ally of yours, but I'm an ally.
Okay, so
we're allies as in we're not going to kill each other.
Right. She says, right. She says, and if you're around long enough, we can even do more trading. Steelhawks, obviously, we're not going to mess with you or any of your gang. So whenever you're forming your gang up and taking over your territory, that's your territory. We're going to respect that.
Okay, so out of character, here's what I think we do. I think
go straight to the arena and attack.
No, even better.
Oh.
I think that we give priestess lady that I cannot think of her name because all I know is Delstrya. Thank you. enough time that she can build us a clockwork something or another.
Ooh.
And then we can attach a couple of like weapons to it, and basically give her lots of money. And then we TFO and we go look for Leto, or we go find Connor so I can get some answers. And then we come back in a couple of months and we ally with the Steelhawks, who are definitely not just going to get run over in the next like 3 days. And we like launch a full-out assault on Hellion.
I don't know if that's part of book 2.
You know what? I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I think we should build up our forces and wait a few months. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, clearly nothing bad's going to happen. And really, if we needed to, we could go get the barbarians because they hate everything like technology.
Right.
Thank you.
Technological. Yep.
Yes. And all I have to do is be like, yo, Hellion is like super on monitors. We need to destroy him. And then I could have like 7 barbarian tribes come in with us. Perfect idea. We're going for it. Just throw it all out because this is our new plan.
I think this is great. I think it's a great plan. It's a great plan. Absolutely. Yep.
I think maybe dealing with the Haunted Canyon or the Manticore.
Manticore is scary.
Well, if we can befriend it and get it on our side, then we'll have a Manticore.
Wait a minute. This Manticore's been eating people in the nighttime with bat-like things.
We're fine.
Well, it can keep eating people, just not us.
She's like, I don't care. Let it keep eating the people at night. All right.
Kylon would probably have an issue with that. Although it is eating all bad people because they're in Scrapwall. Would he really have an issue with that?
Not everyone bad here is bad. They're just poor.
Poor in goodness. Yes, poor in goodness. They are.
Then Vaya's here.
And Vaya's here, and there's other nice. There's street vendors. What about that lady that runs the boarding house, Ilma Watsi?
At night, so
she stays inside. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, you have multiple things you can do. And there's multiple places on the map you've not gone. There's multiple random encounters we've not rolled for. So I am good with anything that you guys would like to do.
Okay, no, but honestly, I think that the haunted ship is probably what I'm leaning towards. Only because if it was just the Manticore, I'd be all for it. But the scary bat creatures might be too much because how many of us are actually going to be able to hit things that can fly?
Well, when they swoop down to attack, Tor can whack it.
Yeah. They've got to swoop eventually.
Yeah, except I know what's going to happen is that one of them is going to pick Kylon up and take it up, and he's going to drop like a fucking rock because he's wearing like 800 pounds of armor that he never takes off.
Right.
And he's going to die damage.
Did you know that I want to remind you that Kylon does take off his armor, but he changes over to his sleeping armor, which is scale mail. So he does sleep in medium armor still.
Yes, but if we're going out to fight a Manticore, he's not going to wear his sleeping
armor. He will not. He will not have his sleeping armor on. He will definitely have his regular.
What's Q on the map? It's not in the legend.
HIJKLNFE.
It's over by the arena.
Ah, that's interesting. I have no idea what that is.
I'm going to tell you it's probably the entrance to get into where Hellion is.
Let's see here. P, Q. Well, that's Q is actually the Scrapmaster's arena, so I labeled that wrong. And L is the Lords of Rust territory. That's what that is. So I labeled that incorrectly.
Okay.
Okay, L is Lords of Rust territory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that actually is wrong in the book even. They even have that incorrect in the freaking book. But the L is going to be the Lords of Rust territory for L, and Q is going to be the Scrapmaster Arena. Wow. So that's an error even in the book. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that's kind of messed up. Okay. Well, she kind of nods to herself after the group gets a little bit quiet. She says, looks like you guys have things to think about. She says, I'm going to go over to the Hawk's Nest and I'm going to make myself known to my new troops. She says, she says, each one of you, I wish you the best. And she says, yeah. And she says, remember, she says, if you ever need anything, she says, you can figure it out yourself. She says, if you're going to talk to Hellion, I just can't help you much more. I'm sorry, but looks like you guys can handle it on your own, anyways.
We appreciate the information, at least.
She nods. She says, "All right." She says, "Well, you can finish off the rest of this bottle, and I'm out of. I'm out of here. I've got to distance myself from you guys. But I'll let all the other Hawks know not to mess with you. I think they already know. And if you are chosen to go into the gang membership, if you're there at the Scrapmaster Arena, I'll make sure that we're there to try to make sure it's as verified as you're going to get." So
are you actually going to interfere with the fight?
She smiles. She says, I just think that if you have more people watching your back, you're going to be better off. She says, and the more renown you're going to get, the more well-known you are here in town, the more people that are going to come watch you whenever you go fight in the arena.
Right, but are you actually going to interfere with it? Because, I mean, I could have 1,000 people watching me get smashed or ripped apart by two-headed giant things, and it doesn't change anything.
She says, yes. She says, that's right. And then she's going to get up and
Oh, my map glitched. Oh, it's back.
You basically let me lay out things for just a very smooth assessment of things here still in Scrapwall.
Cool.
There is a receiver array, which you're not sure exactly how that ties into things, but one of you might have a chip in the back of your head. There is the Red-Toothed Warren, its layer of Red-Tooth Raiders, which is over on I. Scrapmaster Arena. Libby, you froze again. Libby, you froze, not me. I saw you freeze.
I was reloading.
Oh, okay. We're reloading.
Hey, Doug, have we done a roll to figure out what we know about manticores?
No, I don't think you have.
I'm not sure if we actually rolled or not. We just kind of all assumed that manticores were super scary. Can we roll to figure out what we know about
manticores? I think, you know what, that is a great idea. And I think you might have actually rolled, but you know what? She's going to give you more description of the manticore and everything, so maybe that'll help. Oh my God, I cannot believe it's that check. Okay, it is going to be a knowledge dungeoneering check, which is under nature. So make a nature check.
Yes! I actually have points of nature. Fuck yes.
Ooh,
21.
24.
I'm so excited.
I rolled a 19.
Holy moly, both of you rolled really good. And sweet. That's wonderful, actually. Okay, excellent. Through the whole group, you're going to know that a manticore usually is not nocturnal, but it does have dark vision. So that makes sense. It can also track through by scent. It's a flying creature. that doesn't fly very well, and it usually will use its wings to get down to you, and then it will land and attack you, or it will hover around and shoot spikes out of its tail. Which it does have a kind of like a porcupine kind of tail, but it shoots these spikes out of its tail that act kind of like darts, only much bigger. And it'll do like a spread of these spikes that it can shoot out of its tail. They are smart enough that they can talk and they can negotiate. So this thing is definitely an evil creature. And sometimes they do make agreements with others. Sometimes they do coordinate with others. Manticores in general are going to be very strong and tough. So their best save is going to be their fortitude save. They're pretty darn quick. So their reflex save is pretty good too. And they aren't very smart or crafty. So their will save is definitely a low save. And they are large size. So whatever place this is at, it's in a nest or a layer of some sort, which it's probably going to have an exposed, very high layer, which looking over there at K, this is basically like a large mound up on this side of the city. So this trail here in K goes all the way up to right about here, which is where the Manticore's lair is going to be, up near the top. So it's on big piles of junk.
Do we know if the Manticore comes out every night?
It does not. But you know what? If you ask for a few more details from Sevroth on the Manticore, which will say that you had time to, she will say that sometimes people can flee from it in enough time, because around its mouth and its eyes, it glows green faintly. It like pulsates. And each one of you know that that's not a normal Manticore thing to do. And you have a feeling that might be either a portion of this is tied in with technology somehow, or something of that nature, or maybe some kind of disease or something that it has.
I love it. We definitely need the radiation Manticore.
I was getting ready to say, do I need to cast detect radiation whenever we're by the Manticore?
You might want to do something protection from radiation. You might want to do, yeah.
Okay. Well,
but it generally can rip apart a person very quickly with its bite and its claws, and those are even the ones that are not special and glowing in green light. So,
okay, so here is my.
Oh my God! By the way, I go back to Libby saying we're just gonna go in there, we're gonna take out Hellion, we're gonna keep moving. I keep looking at all these things, like each one of the lieutenants, and I'm like, yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, go after the advanced Etten with 2 heads, 2 hands, spike chains, advanced feet chains, maybe some cybernetics installed on him. Yeah, that's just one of the lieutenants, you know?
Okay, so.
So I horribly misjudged how long this would.
No, you didn't, because it's just like what a normal, like that's normal, right? Like that, I could see a party of adventurers saying that, you know, like we're gonna get in this place. Oh, it's horrible. Okay, well let's go in real quick and just wipe him out. You know, take care of Hellion, bat him around, and then we'll be on the way. You know, yeah.
We don't need to bat him around. We just need to unplug him. Just unplug the monitors. He's fine.
Yep.
Sorry.
Unplug the demon from the monitors. There you go.
I don't think he lives inside the monitor, Sonny. He's not like Max Headroom.
That's something that Kylon would do, is he'd just turn off the monitor. There, we got him.
Although, would Kylon be like gentle enough to turn it off, or would he just smash it? Because
he would smash it. He would smash it. He wouldn't know how to turn it off. Yeah.
Okay, so here's small idea. Let's go hang out. I say hang out. All right, let's go talk to the Red Tooth Raiders because we need to pay them a visit anyways. And then we could go see the manticore after that.
Tomorrow. We don't have any spells.
I didn't say right this second. I'm just saying that our plan of attack should be
got it.
go
Okay.
see the Red Tooth Raiders.
Yeah.
And then we talk to the manticore and
Yeah.
see if we, I don't know, do something with the manticore.
Yeah.
And his fat things. And then we can go to the receiver array and team up with the totally not going to betray us ex-Hellion followers.
Well, I think we should go to the haunted wreck before we go to the manticore.
But it's on the way. So we can go I, and then K, and then N, and then O.
Yeah, you could do that all today.
No, we're not doing that today.
I need Kylon to be able to smite evil when we get to the ghosties.
That might be a thing. He can do it 2 times a day now.
Out of character, we're probably looking at 2 more days here.
Yeah.
So we can go to the Red Tooth Raiders today, talk to them, go sleep, and then either see the manticore or go to the haunted wreck, one or the other. Tomorrow.
I'm okay with that. Kylon and Tor, do you guys have a preference between ghosties and manticore?
Kylon thinks about it. He says, the last ghost that I was able to kill was quite easy to defeat. And as we all know how much ghosts lie, I would be fine taking out a ghost. He says, a manticore, though, if it's killing innocent people and swooping down and feasting on them, I just don't think like it needs to be around any longer. It seems like the ghosts everyone knows to keep away from them.
Didn't I kill the ghost?
He says, you might have had a hand in it, but I think that I was the one that was able to smite it and take it down finally.
Might have.
Yeah, we poked it a couple of times, but it had damage reduction, and so Kylon smited evil and blasted it into it.
I think honestly, Delstrya might have been the one that does he had a health or 2, a point or 2 left, and I think she killed it somehow. I think she really did kill it at the very end. Tor though, he just kind of shrugs and he says, whichever. He does say, he says,
Kylon did smite it for 22 at the end. That's right. Okay.
There you go. Tor says, Gorham, he says he does not want rust to exist. Rust on our weapons, rust on our armor. Rust is a bad thing for Gorham. Our worship of any kind of things with rust, if they are monsters of rust, they need to be killed.
And those are where the manticore is.
Kylon looks over. He's like, he says, who cares about a rust thing? He says, it's not going to be able to defeat us. I mean, we just clean it off and then we're fine.
Hey, Kylon, I'd not jump to conclusions there, champ.
He says, I have my father's sword. He says, it'll be able to cut through them and will not be harmed.
Hey, Kylon.
Yes.
Let's take a moment, since we're here and drinking and all in a good, cheering mood. What happens if your sword breaks? What happens if Leto's sword?
He says it cannot break. It's divine.
Okay, but what if it does?
He says, then we would put it back together.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're not going to kill yourself if your sword breaks.
He says, no. He says, it wouldn't break anyways, but if it did, I would be able to, with Tor's help or a forge, I'd be able to put it back together.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, just in case something happens.
He says, nothing will happen. It's my father's sword.
No, and I'm sure that nothing will happen. But you almost died. And I just...
He nods. He says, but you know why I didn't die?
Divine intervention.
He nods. He says, divine intervention.
Or, our intervention.
That was actually divine intervention, though.
He says, each time that you have helped me, I would think of it as divine intervention.
Oh wait, he used a hero point, didn't he?
2. He used 2. It was as divine intervention as you can get. He says, I think of each time that you're able to heal me and keep me alive as divine intervention, and the same that I am able to help you each time. It's the grace of Iomade that protects us all.
Well,
with some help from Dora, probably. He says, and whatever the two of you believe in, but he says, I don't think either one of you believes strongly enough to get divine intervention from whatever it is you worship. He says, I've thought about this quite a long time, actually.
I can tell.
About divine intervention, I feel like Aristil is, if you die, you die.
He says, oh, Aristil, yep, that guy. Shake his head no. He says, you should follow Iomade instead. Iomade actually takes action and does things, helps her worshippers.
Wait a minute, I don't think that isn't the right god that I picked.
That isn't the right god. She picked her over Gug. She picked her over Gug.
Delstrya.
Well, no, I was looking at my deity here, and that isn't the description that I read of the deity that I was going to follow. I must have written down the wrong one.
Well, that just shows how adamant of a follower you are, right there.
That just shows how bad Libby is at remembering deities. Being the pagan that I am. I'm a horrible pagan, by the way.
You're bad. You're even a bad pagan.
I'm a bad pagan.
Colin says, so he says, are we going to go see the little rat things in today?
Let's not call them little rat things.
Well, aren't they rat things?
They might be rat folk, but let's be friendly and not affect them.
He says it. I wouldn't not be if. Well, of course. I mean, you can talk to them. He says, I have had 2 drinks. Which Kylan actually hardly ever drinks. He kind of looks around, shakes his head. He says, I don't know why either one of you ever do this, but this is as good a time as ever to go and have communications with those rat things then. Rat creatures.
Thank you.
The rat people. All right. So you get yourselves together. And Red Tooth. Go into Red Tooth's lair.
Refresher. Whiskifisk is the one we saved.
Yes, that's her brother.
And then her name is what?
Her name is Red Tooth.
Oh, I thought it was. Never mind. Okay. Right. Forgot that everyone here in this has a stupid name.
Oh.
Let's see. I should probably be a follower of. I don't know. Yore? Rao?
What?
Why would you not pick like Desna, who's all about the stars?
Desna does like the stars.
You don't require alignment, do you, Libby?
Huh?
I said you don't require alignment, do you? for your class? I
Mm-mm.
don't think you do.
No, I don't think so.
Although, I mean, Desna's a good person anyways. I think she's chaotic.
She's chaotic good.
Yeah.
I might have followed her a couple of times, you know.
Might have like all of the characters.
Not all of them. I really do like Desna, though.
I really like Desna though. Okay. Okay, let's see if I have some Red Tooth Raider artwork here. Or at least a Red Tooth herself. Nope. Nope. Why would I do that? So Whiskafist is this guy.
Yes,
Mhm.
I liked him.
And Red Tooth
I
is...
spelled his name wrong. That's cool.
That's okay. It's really kind of a weird spelling of it. Red Tooth is going to be acquired here.
Okie dokie.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna go pee.
Good idea.
Because I have a bladder the size of a peanut.
Peanut butter. That is fine. There we go. Images. Oh. Well, I have her like most of the way, but not all the way here. So here we go. Go. And handout. Boy. Nope. Yeah. There we go. There we are, finally. There's Red Tooth. Yeah, all sorts of junk.
I like her.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. Pretty cool for a rat folk. What's interesting is there is even a map for her entire place also, just in case you want to go on a killing spree.
No, I told you I liked her. We're not killing her.
I know. I'm just saying killing spree.
I'm telling you the answer is no. Why are people stupid?
Well, that's because we are. You mean just people in general or specific people are stupid?
So, I like
know.
it much. We're opening the theaters on the 9th.
No, really?
Did you email that guy back or message him back?
To him, like,
The one that's just like, well, I can't wear a mask, so I'm not gonna come. Yeah, thanks for letting us know, buddy.
24 to 48 hour window that I have to like actually answer people in. I normally answer people in like 2 hours, but I'm leaving him be for right now because
I think that's probably best.
Everything I've like typed out has been super snarky. And I'm just like, I should probably not lose my job over this. But
so just be like, thank you for letting us know about your health conditions. We would prefer that if you don't feel safe coming to our theaters, that you stay at home until this nationwide pandemic is over. We
Mhm.
care about our customers' safety. P.S. Go fuck yourself. I mean,
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's funny.
it's like, why even send that message? Why?
It's just people being dumb. But yeah, I'm glad at least you were informed, that he can't go there. So
Yes,
yeah.
at least you now know that he can't wear a mask, so therefore nobody should ever be open anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you keep your ass at home if you can't wear a mask.
Pretty much. All right. So,
Oh, look at the cute little rat.
your group gets together, and you go over to Red Tooth's warren.
Just want to scratch your little chin.
And
Oh,
you like to, yeah.
Hey. How many drinks did you have, buddy?
Delstrya goes up and just starts.
just starts petting the rat folk.
So you make it across the the Red Tooth Raider territory, and some things that you find here is that it's mainly filled with rat folk. The entire area is where you were seeing like bands of them before whenever you're going through the contested areas and up through here to the Envias area. Around I, especially amongst the walls here of junk, there is heavy populations of rat folk, and you'd imagine there might be several hundred here living in Scrapwall.
Wow.
The Red Tooth Raiders don't have identifying uniforms or anything of that nature, but they seem to be the rat folk that are armed, and they come out to meet you as you're approaching closer to the area here where the warren is supposed to be at. And the warren is Red Tooth Raiders' heart of their territory, and their safe house is called the warren. And coming out from the warren are about 18 rat folk, along with Whiskafist and Red Tooth herself. And they come out and meet you as you're approaching the warren, and are kind of lined up as if once again, they could be facing off against an aggressor. She just as cute as she looks there in that picture with her little pigtails, her little rat tails. She comes out from amongst the group there, and it looks like she has some technological items that are on her for sure. She looks at each one of you as she's about 20 feet away where they stop. And it looks like she's questioning like which one of you she should talk to. Kylon just kind of sighs, and he just points over at the two of you, and he shrugs. He says, I don't know who it would be either, honestly. And he just points over that direction. And she nods. She says, sometimes it's good to share leadership. She says, that's what I've done with my brother here and myself. And Whiskafist kind of steps up there. It looks like he has some bandages on, and some of those places where there were scars and holes on the back of his head have been covered now.
How are you doing, Whiskafist? Are you feeling better?
He nods. He says, yes, I feel much better now. Thank you for saving me. I've told Red Tooth all about you. I've told her what you've done. Red Tooth nods. She says, I am not only grateful for you rescuing my brother, but also from what you've done with the Smilers. It was a cancer upon this entire city. this place used to be controlled by rat folk until more and more of those kinds moved in and eventually pushed us into just a corner of the entire city.
Well, now you're welcome to divide the Smilers' territory with the Steelhawks if you want to work out an agreement with them.
Her nose twitches as, she's thinking. Her nose twitches, and she's like, "What?" She says, "Wait." She says, "What?" She says, "Why did you do that then to the Smilers? Why are you here? You're not like the Crusaders that come through every once in a while in the territories." She says, "Why are you here? Why did you do that?"
Out of character. I'm just waiting for Sunny to give her usual line. Why do everyone keep asking us? We're here.
I love it. I love it.
No, to be fair, she snapped at Sev because we've already explained to her why we were here. Our little rat folk has not had our spiel yet, so
they get it one time for free, and then after that, trouble.
We are looking to meet Hellion.
Nods. She says, "Part of my gang has already defected to him. They recruited heavily whenever they moved in here." And she looks down. She says, "Some of the rat folk here saw it as the winning side right from the very beginning, especially after he had priestesses. Several of them, Meanda being the last one. But he actually gives his power to people. You can pray to him, and he gives power."
So you said when they came here, did Hellion bring the Lords of Rust with him, or were the Lords of Rust already here?
She says they were gathered. They were strong. She says strong hands in the city, most of them already, but they were gathered together by him. And he gathered others, taking parts of each one of the gangs. The ones that he couldn't influence, he would just take over. The ones that were strong enough, the ones that he saw as a threat. Eventually, whenever he took half of my membership, she says, even those that he did take were loyal enough that they didn't want to see the destruction of the Red Tooth Raiders. So he's ignored us for the most part, but his rise to power went unchecked. There was nothing I could do to stand against him. There were too many of them. There are too many of them. Even with half of his gang destroyed now, himself through a foolish act, destroying half of his own gang. So still, there's too many of them. Says, "I will say this," she says, "the rats are on our side." She says, "The rust monsters," she says, "we have several of those that we can control." She says, "Other than that, though," she says, "we've only survived because of our number, because there's enough of the citizens here that actually support us. I couldn't do it without them."
How do you control rust monsters?
She says, "It is tricky." She says, "You must raise them from when they are very small."
Oh.
She says, "You must teach them to eat metal only upon command." She says, "It's very difficult." She says, "But we have found ways to do it. We have several trainers here."
Interesting.
She nods. She says, "In a place that is completely made of metal, yes, they can tunnel. They can tunnel as well as we can. We've been able to build our warren deep into the wall." She says, "Highly defensible."
Could they tunnel down?
She thinks about it and she says, "The metal only goes down so far." She says, "The wreckage ends." She says, "We have explored." She says, "But it goes down to rock eventually." She says, at least in our territory.
Excuse me.
She says, in other places before me, she says, other leaders have dug. We have researched, we've scoured, we've tried to get anything of value out of this place. Now all that remains, she says, just junk. She says, most of the people here, most of my kind, went back to Chitterhome long ago. That is our stronghold in this country. That is where the rat folk rule. Says, I wouldn't be accepted back there myself, though. I'm not traditional enough. She says, Whiskafis and I, we found a home here, and we will fight to the very end to defend it. And she steps forward a bit. She says, I have been looking for an ally for quite some time. She says, you saving my brother from the experiments that he described. She says, defeating the Smilers. She says, I would gladly ally with you. I would gladly help you.
We would gladly take any help that can be offered.
She says, I need to learn more about your plans, though. Maybe we should speak in private.
Certainly.
And with that, she goes over to a section of the wall. Her people kind of back up, and she goes into a small hole, which is covered just with a flap of leather that is hanging there. It's like it's cured leather. She pulls it open, and you see that it's a small little place for a normal-sized person to go into, but she welcomes you in. And inside, you see a single room, which opens up quite a bit from its entry hole to about a 15-foot ceiling that's well lit with candles all around, and is actually quite well appointed. It looks like it's got a meeting table in it that is made of junk, multiple chairs, a blue plush rug on the ground even that was put in. And it looks
fancy.
It looks like some kind of like a meeting room that she would have, with others that are maybe it's not used very often, but it's used as some sort of a polished meeting room. And you can tell that she's quite proud of it, even though to you all it looks like it's just a whole inside junk and metal pieces sticking out of the sides still, and just like it looks like it's still part of a trash heap.
Well,
So,
but I'm sure it took a lot of effort.
It definitely would take a lot of effort. Yes, that's for sure. That's for sure. And there aren't any like sharp bits sticking out from the sides of the walls. So you think that they actually took a lot of concern and care in this one, just shaping the room to the way it looks right now. She quickly goes over to the edge of the table and starts pulling out the chairs. And then she has a small sized chair there at the end of the table, which she climbs up onto. And Whiskafist joins you as the last one in the room, looking out at the other rat folk and then closing the curtain to give you privacy. Redtooth says, she says, so you're here to speak with Hellion. Do you wish to negotiate with him?
I don't think he's a negotiating type from what I've heard.
She says, no. She says, I don't believe that he is. She says, I think that he has existed for a long time.
I think we're really just after what he's up to. What is he doing here?
She says he was using the receiver array for some reason, transmitting things across the country. She says, I know that he was using it, that it was very important. It was neglected for many years, but then all of a sudden, Meanda and others, they came up from down underneath the Scrapmaster arena. They brought tools. They brought brand new technology that had been unblemished, untouched. Out of this place, she puts up her hands. She says, out of a place that's been clean for many, many years, they were able to bring large cases with inside of it electronics and lights. She says, controls and monitors that worked, that looked brand new. They brought them from down below, and they worked on the array, and I believe they repaired it. They set it to function, to do something. She says, not only that, though, she says, it seems like, she says, whatever this Hellion is, it seems like he could possibly be a demon of some sort, maybe trapped even below the city. She says, I think he gathered his forces, though, for some purpose. You're right. I don't know what, though. I just know that he is able to give blessings upon his worshipers. He's able to give divine power. He is like a god.
You said they brought stuff up from down below. Do you mean from underneath scrap wall? Or
as in portions of the city, maybe deeper than my predecessors had gone. Underneath the Scrapmaster arena, though. She says,
maybe there's ruins underneath.
She says, I don't know.
Delstria's eyes light up, thinking about things to explore.
She said,
like, oh fuck.
I would like to go. She says, I would love to be able to see what is down there, to get some of the bounty of the treasures down below. She says, especially if there's technology that works. She says, this entire area, she says, there's so many rumors about it in the past, but most people think that it is jettisoned junk, much bigger, that exploded and tumbled all throughout the wasteland many, many thousands of years ago. That whatever was here was leftovers from barbarian tribes and many other generations picking over what used to be just a field, she says, of all sorts of technology, of all sorts of metal and pieces from some other realm. She says, maybe Hellion came from that realm. Maybe he is part of it. Or she says, I don't know. She says, but she says, I do know that Meanda, she was an android. His priestess has been gone for some time. I believe that she is gathering power. I believe that something has happened with the Lords of Rust, the way they're acting. They used to patrol day and night. They used to be all above ground, but now it seems like they've pulled in deeper. They've gone underground, and they do not expose themselves very often. It is just the orcs, just their foot soldiers that are here in the city. They have not been trying to take over the city. They've let the gangs exist and fight amongst ourselves. Only whenever someone gets too powerful do they interact with them. It's like they don't really care about Scrapwall. They don't care about our home.
Well, the good news is that you don't have to worry about Meanda anymore.
Her nose twitches a little bit. She says, what? She says, she's gone?
She's gone.
No, she says, good. She says, and her pistol?
Secured. What do you know about that?
She pulls back. She says, I would trade so much for it. I would trade so much. She says, I have so much to trade. She says, I do have valuable things. Now, I have found good things within the junk, and I've traded for even better things that people would not know they were trading away, of course. But I would make sure that I would trade you fairly. She says, I have nanite canisters. She says, I have a dart gun even. It is in wonderful working order.
How many nanite canisters do you have?
She says, 2 of them. She says, sealed. and complete. Not anything missing from them. Completely charged. I love it. She says, and I have more too in my layer, of course. She says, I would trade to you. I would give you many things. She says, if you could bring me her pistol. That's what she has in her place. Oh gosh. She says, I have a flare gun. She says, grenades. She says, many grenades. We love grenades. She says, I have a trauma pack also, in case you are wounded in battles. I have a trauma pack.
Okay, I'm looking up dart gun here. Dart gun is worth 3,000 gold.
No. We're not trading my pew pew pistol for a I did not take a freaking exotic weapon like proficiency for a goddamn.
It does.
No, it does nothing. I haven't.
Colin says, well, you haven't even used it one time. He just kind of shrugs.
You have to be like, X them in order to use it. That's not going to happen. So.
She says, I have a detonator also. She says, you could use that to blow up the array if you wanted to. I have charges. She says, oh, she says, yes. She says, I actually have explosives that you could rig with a detonator. She smiles and nods her head. She says, you could blow up the entire array and have it crash. I could show you how to do it.
What is the array made of?
What's that?
I said, what is the array made of? Is it metal?
She nods. She says, metal. She says, large amounts of metal. She says,
so your cute little rust monsters could go nom it?
She says, I only have one. She says, the other one, well, she says, it escaped. It went back to where the others came from. She says, it is on the hill where the manticores are. She says, with others. She says, but the one that I have is trained very well, yes. In time, it could chew through. It could bring the array down, but if there were not guardians there.
What kind of guardians?
She says, chokers.
What the fuck is a choker?
She shrugs. She says, long arm reaches and will grab you and pull you up into its lair. It likes eating rat folk even. Chokers. Her brother nods. He's like, chokers are very bad. Just evil things. Evil. They will grab you and they will take children even. They've come down from the hill before whenever they were not with Hellion. But now that they are with Hellion, they stay around the array. They stay there and they guard it. Would anyone want to make another knowledge check? This one going to be a knowledge nature check to see what a choker is. It is dungeoneering is what you're making it on if you have a specific
13.
Wow. Okay. Let's see here. Well, I would say, Sunny, you would know well enough that a choker is a small creature. It's not real big. It climbs around quite well, and it uses basically its arms kind of like tentacles to grab, and it basically will grab people around your neck and try to choke you to death, or it will, as its namesake, or it will actually attach itself to you and actually pummel you to death if you can't be choked to death. But it is definitely a very grabby thing. Very sticky, very grabby, and very much something that will try to kill you. While it's grappled with you, it will grab around you where you cannot speak or cast spells either, which is very difficult. It'll strangle you to death pretty much.
Lovely.
Yeah. Oh, and it's extremely quick. As in, it will actually, it can make an extra move action every round. so it can cover great areas very quickly while it's trying to reach its prey.
Are there lots of those in the area?
She nods. She says, "In the array, yes. There's many there."
Great.
She says, "And also dark stalkers." She says, "But I think most of them were killed."
What the fuck are those?
Does anyone want to make a knowledge nature check? I mean, dungeoneering, but roll nature.
Yes.
13.
Did I get a Oh my gosh, is right. Yeah, don't know what those are. Those sound scary.
I focus on the chokers apparently, so whatever.
She describes the dark stalkers as things that can create darkness, and that they are from the plane of shadow, she believes, originally. But they are only active really at nighttime, or where they can actually have cover of darkness if it's inside.
And those are also by the array?
She nods. She says, yes. She says, yes. She says, but she says, I don't know how many of them are still left. How many of either are still left? She says, after Hellion attacked his own.
When did he do that?
I figured you were going to ask when. We determined that before. It was a few days after you actually killed Meanda.
Okay.
That he actually killed.
I'm pretty sure it was about the time that we turned off the power relay.
Yeah, about that time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just wanted.
Yeah.
Minor detail, you know.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so she pretty much confirms part of what Sevroth said before.
Except for the fact that Sevroth didn't tell us anything about the Guardians.
No,
Probably didn't know about them.
It's just gonna be like, hey, walk right in, you're fine.
Yep.
Well, she probably told us what she knew.
And that's the thing. Each person has different bits of info. So yeah.
No, I don't trust her.
I don't trust her. Kill her. Kill her.
Well, what do you know about the my screen is glitched, so I can't see what it's called. But the haunted shipwreck.
She says, yes. She says, some of us, we dream of going to that place. We believe that that is the one place still with salvage, where a person could go there and dig for days and get valuables. She says, it has always had a mist around it, a poisonous mist. She says, and within that mist, if you do go in, she says, it will part for you. You can stay there for some period of time, but then the voices start and the lights. She says, I believe it is haunted. She says, not only is it, I believe that it is haunted, but whatever is haunting it is dangerous. Will strike out and actually, she looks down. She says, we've lost several of our family there. Whiskefist and I have brave family members that have gone into that mist looking for treasures, but they've never come out. Some of them say at the very end of the corridor that there's something else over there. From the outside of the city even, you can climb over the top and through the mist. On certain days, they've said that there's a ship there. She nods. She says, yes, like the diagrams. And she points over at the wall, and you see scribbled there like a shape of the city. And it looks like where P is on the city is it looks like there's drawn like a picture of a ship, like a spaceship that she drew there. She says, but no one is able to go in and come back out. It is too dangerous. Too many spirits, or the gas itself makes you think things that are not there. She says something is not right with that place. She says it is very dangerous enough that the Lords of Rust do not go there. their acolytes had never gone there. She says the Smilers, even they, the crazy ones, would not even go in there.
Well, we were thinking about going there.
We were thinking about going there. She's like, please don't. She says, don't. She says it will kill you.
You said there's a poisonous gas, but it'll part for you?
She nods. She says, I've heard stories for those who have stepped in and then have quickly retreated. She says, whenever they heard the noises, she says, it is like, she says, the canyon itself, she says, is filled with a cold mist that people say that they choke on. They cannot breathe. It is like fog throughout the entire area. She says, you cannot even see very far in front of you, even with a bright light. And she says, I believe that it is poisonous. She nods. She says, although, she says, I have heard of people going in with gas masks on and still not coming out.
Great gas mask.
She says, maybe it is not poisonous, but maybe there's something else that affects you, something magical that affects you.
Oh, gas mask. I know those are items.
Both of you would know about gas masks because of your experience with technology at this point.
I'm looking for it in the technology guide.
It should be able to be found there. Let's check here and see.
Found a filter mask.
I think that might be it, the filter mask. Let's see here. Filter mask. Oh, yeah, 4,500 gold. That sounds about right.
Of course.
Of course, says Alyssa. Yep, that's what it would be as a filter mask. Mm-hmm. So she will say gas mask, but that is what it is, yeah. That is wonderful. Wow, that's well worth it for 4,500 gold. You're going to say something, Alyssa.
I am, but... All right. So would this be anything like the mists that are in the Witchlight Vale?
Sounds like it.
That was kind of helpful. Okay.
Yeah, it does sound like, I mean, until you get to see it yourself.
I'm just curious because the whole point of the Witchlight Vale is that they talk about the lights and the voices once you get into the Vale.
Yep. And it does seem like, as she said, there's lights, there's voices. Whenever you go through that valley area, which this is, keep in mind, this is like 1,200 feet once you get into O before you get to the end of it. So you're not looking like 100 feet and then you're there kind of thing. So Redtooth looks back and forth at each one of you and she says, a bigger problem. She says, one that I might be able to help with. She says, the manticore. She says, we rat folk would do better going out at night. As a matter of fact, we can see much better than humans at night. It was our advantage whenever the manticore was not here. But the manticore came, she says, about 2 years ago, the manticore came. and landed atop where it's made its nest now. But before the manticore was a bat-winged creature the size of a human. I believe that it brought the manticore there. I think the manticore is this guard of some sort, but they both come out at night and they hunt. And upon the hill are the rust monsters, she says, and she says, no one has been able to deal with it yet, but I would be able to distract some of the rust monsters, maybe pull them away, make it to where you could have a chance after the manticore.
What do you know of the bat-winged creature?
She describes it, and her description is since she's able to actually have seen it before, and I think you're going to have to. Darn it, Doug just can't type today. You can make a knowledge check of some sort, but let's see what that knowledge check is going to be. That is the reason why I need to be able to type. Oh, yeah, of course. It's going to be a society check is what you need to make. It talks about a bat-like human. It's very muscular, but with fur all around it.
Hell yeah.
Bat-like wings.
I rolled in that 20.
Okay, and you can look up, Libby, if you'd like to look up the listing on this. A creature called a sabosan, which is Sabosan. And that 20, I will let you look at everything that it can do. Sabosan.
Oh, there's no picture. Looks
I'm
like they're
sorry.
supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sunny, meanwhile, describes a large bat. And she
describes it. I'm like, oh, that's a sabosan.
Yeah, you've probably, I wouldn't know how you would know about this, though.
Maybe I read about it in a book.
It's always reading about it in a book, right? Yeah. Maybe you had like a certain stage where you were reading Twilight books and you're really about vampires and such, growing up. In your tween years when you were a tween. And you found out okay about vampires and all that stuff, and then sabosans were actually real things. And yeah, this is a really rare thing. Actually, it's not very common at all.
Warm forest or underground? Why is it up here then?
Why is it up here?
Unless it has a tunnel to get underground.
It might be. And it being solitary kind of makes sense, but she does talk about other bats that follow it. So you think that actually it has other bats that...
Well, it says solitary hunting party or clan. So...
Yep. Hold on. Has bats that follow it or other bat-like creatures?
Bats. Really big bats.
We can handle big bats, but if we've got like 6 of these sabo things, we might have issues.
Or even one.
I mean, just add it to the list of weird shit we're going to have to kill in this area. Just
Excuse me. Wow, their wingspan can be almost 20 feet.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're stealthy.
She says, whatever it is, she says, it would be best if it was not around. She says,
yeah.
if you would present the manticore, though, that is what people would want to see. If you would bring that to the Scrapmaster Arena, that alone, she says, I imagine that you'd have enough, she says, notoriety. She doesn't say scrap wars. She says notoriety that you could challenge the Lords of Rust, or maybe you could you could make sure that they knew that they would have to fight you with honor. She says there would be enough of us. She says around you to protect you in case they didn't.
Okay, are you going to protect us? Like,
she nods her head. She says yes. She says if you're wanting to do things, she says, and change this entire area, she says we will help. She says I want back my people. I want to show them that the Lords of Rust are not to be followed, that Hellion is evil. I want them back in our tribe. I want them back, joined back with the Raiders.
Okay. So go ahead, Delstrya.
This is me to Doug.
Uh-huh.
I want to study Red Tooth while she's talking and use my prognostication, which is sense motive.
Oh, sure.
Well, which is on sense motive. But once per day, I can predict the creature's fortune for the near future. I spend 10 minutes interpreting the divination means at my disposal. The GM then attempts a secret sense motive check with a DC modified by the subject's hit dice. So this is why I want to do it. The result of the check can give you basic insight into the subject's nature, including its alignment, class, levels, or hit dice, and might reveal clues to the creature's immediate future. So I want to kind of get a little more insight into
on her. Yeah, get a real good read on her. What is the DC what is it modified by her hit dice?
To determine alignment, it's 15 plus hit dice.
Oh, 15 plus hit dice. Okay.
To determine class, it's 20 plus hit dice.
What is your bonus on this skill?
Let me see.
It can be perception. It's under perception.
Oh goodness. 10.
A plus 10?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then what was the 20? Is alignment and hit dice?
15 plus hit dice is alignment. Class is 20 plus hit dice. 25 plus hit dice is level or hit dice.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. So you're going to spend some time there then with her. Is there other things that you guys want to learn from her or ask her while you're talking about joining up, or what do you want to do?
Well, I'm going to be kind of studying her and messing with some stuff like my cards, kind of doing some stuff while they're talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sunny was going to.
Yeah, that leaves Sunny to talk.
Because that's going to work out really well. So.
Just don't lie to her. And
I'm not going to lie to her.
Don't stab her in the back.
I'm not going to stab her in the back either. Tor would not be okay with that.
No, that would not. That's the reason why you won't. I love that.
Thank God none of us are like true like thieves or like assassins, because Tor would just be all like, "That's not honorable," as we sneak up on.
And he would stomp off, or he would let the bad guy know you were coming.
I don't scroll for me. Okay, so like hypothetically, we kill the manticore.
This is Sunny talking.
Yes, this is Sunny talking.
Okay.
So hypothetically, we kill the manticore.
Red
the manticore to our Lords of Rust, and we're like, "Yo, bitches! Like, we're here to challenge you." So then, we honorably fight in this arena against Hellsguard.
She nods. She says, "Yes."
The one with the chainsaw.
Oh no! That's not the chainsaw one. No.
Oh no, that's Clara. Sorry, just kidding.
Yeah.
Sorry. The troll. The troll from the chariot. Yes. The chariot troll. Okay, so we're gonna fight.
Just one of the 5. All of you against it. Yes.
Right. Okay. So
she says that would be an even battle. Then it would be tough.
Okay, but so let's go out on a limb and say that it's an honorable fight, and we win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like Lords of Rust are going to be super cool with us being like, "Hey, just murdered your troll. What happens after that? It's not like they're going to be like, oh, you win? Cool, come on in.
Well, I think that is how the initiation works.
She nods. She says, well, she says, they were likely, she says, if you would win, she says, no one has, well, she says, if you're able to win, she says, then she says, then she says, you're in the Scrapmaster arena and all of your allies would be there also. She says, it could start a massive fight. She says, but she says, all of us, we would see your power. We would know how great you were. She says, I believe that most of the Lords of Rust, their followers would turn or flee. They're a cowardly bunch. Most of them were gained through intimidation. And if you're able to prove that you're stronger, she says, it would mainly just be the lieutenants, I think, that would be loyal. Maybe a handful of others.
The lieutenants are the ones that worry me. Having 4 more of them come out.
She says,
that's not really what I want to like.
She says, that is why I recommend the trauma pack. The trauma pack could be very good for you. She says, it is not. She says, it is not time worn. It would work perfectly well.
Cool, but the trauma pack's only going to work on one person, right? And if there's 4 lieutenants who are very big and very scary and kind of powerful, and one of them can literally rip you in pieces, I'm not sure that I want to put my companions into this danger.
She says, perhaps what we would need to do then, she says, we could start spreading the word. We could start spreading the word, me and my people among
Start spreading the news.
She says, we would let them all know that you want a challenge. We would tell them all. The Smilers are already telling them. Any of the Smilers that are left are spreading about your deeds. She says, soon it will just be those lieutenants that would stand with Hellion, not many others.
Out of character. I mean, we did take out the Smilers and the Stillhawks within 24 hours.
Yes, but those were all relatively small creatures. The 5 very large, very strong, very powerful, not human creatures are kind of scary. Do you know what happened when I went one-on-one with a freaking regular, like, half-orc?
Well, we wouldn't be going one-on-one, and I did shoot an ogre through the eye with an arrow.
Oh, she's going to say, I have heard of that story. Yes, the ogre through
This
the
is
eye.
out of character, Doug. This is just me and Alyssa.
Damn it. Yeah, you're getting a lucky shot, though.
Hey.
I mean, a very skilled shot. Very skilled shot.
It was a very skilled shot, and you let Bear kill him, which was very nice of you. But do you not remember Bird Food, who nearly murdered all of us?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Well, 5 against 1. I mean, we had a bunch of orcs and stuff also with Bird Food.
Right.
But the orcs were not particularly scary.
We'll be fine, Alyssa.
Libby, I think that you are severely...
Well, we're going to go work on the manticore first. We'll see how we do against the manticore.
We'll work on the manticore.
We'll build up our strength.
Yeah, we'll work on him a little bit. See how that manticore is doing. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
while you're talking to her, I'm still studying her. Just
you're wooing, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything specific that you would like to know from her? Oh my God, I just love it. Love it.
Pardon.
Tell us how many rust monsters are in the manticore area. I know she said that she was going to distract them, but I figured that we're going to have to take them out one way or the other.
Yeah, we don't want them all to get hurt while we're.
She says that there's 5 or 6 rust monsters that she thinks are in that canyon, but she'd be able to distract several of them so that you would fight a smaller group of them. Just depending on how much that she can do to lure the others away.
So are the little rust monsters, are they like guards? Like just kind of guarding the
It seems
the
like
passageway?
it seems like they live on the way going like through that hill going up to the manticore's area. If you could fly, especially during the daytime, you could go straight up to where the manticore's lair is and avoid them completely.
Yeah, I didn't grow those wings overnight.
Rust monsters.
Yeah.
Mr. Douglas. Are they swarms or are they regular monsters? How do we kill them? I want to pump her for as much information.
Okay. She actually knows a lot about rust monsters, so she'll actually go into detail about the rust monsters, how often they eat, etc., etc. They're actually bigger than she is. Each one of these things, small-sized creatures.
They're bigger than what?
They're bigger than a rat folk. So they're medium-sized. They burrow into like the rubble, but really it's not really them burrowing. It's more them just dissolving all of the metal that they come in contact with. How
long does it take them to damage that? Because that could be bad for weapons.
Oh, just one touch. Just a little touch with their antenna. And 2 touches on a weapon and it would just dissolve it. Yeah.
So I'm thinking we need to use
wood. They can't dissolve though like that.
Just beat them with a club.
Like a club and a polar a staff of some sort, you know. They can actually smell out metal. There's certain metals that they actually favor, and that's what she can do to actually draw them closer. It seems like they really favor copper. So any kind of copper that she has, she would use to kind of draw them in closer. So they can sense metal. They do bite, and their bites don't hurt too bad. It's mainly them dissolving your weapons as you're trying to attack them. That's the worst part of the rust monster.
Are they weak against anything that they know of?
No, they don't have any vulnerabilities except for their hunger. They're actually as far as like physical conditions, they can actually starve to death pretty quickly if they weren't in mounds of metal. They aren't too hardy. So really hot days and stuff, they burrow themselves in and they wait it out. There is nothing that they're weak against though. But they're about 5 foot long and they weigh about 200 pounds. They're kind of lobster-like in their shape. And if you're walking along the pathway there going up to the manticore, they are destined to come crawling out from their holes. And it doesn't seem like that sabosan thing has any kind of metal that it uses, that bat-like creature. So they leave it alone. They leave most things alone if they don't have metal. But the iron of your weapons or anything like that will definitely attract them, especially like the plate mail and stuff. Boy, they would just love to have that.
Ooh, it's like a shiny crab they can just crack into.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we need to just give Kylon and Tor a couple of clubs to use against them.
It seems like also like even armor could get destroyed pretty quickly by them.
These are nasty little critters.
Yes, they are nasty little critters. So it's best, honestly, when the rat folk deal with them, they pretty much strip down to just undergarments. They get clubs and sticks, and that's what they have on, except for maybe a bow at range, But the things go really quick. I mean, they have a movement speed of 40 feet around, or a movement action, so they can get to you really quick.
So if I use the grease wand and cast grease, that might slow them down.
It really could slow them down. Absolutely.
And then we have the grenades. we can chuck some grenades and just take care of them from afar.
You could use grenades. You could use the bow. Those sort of things would probably be more effective.
Of course, I can use my bow, but then I'll lose more arrows.
Well, arrows.
I mean, arrows are cheap. I can buy more, but
I will contribute to your arrow fund if necessary.
I just don't want to have. I just don't want to lose so many arrows that I'm down too low for a big battle.
Against a manticore?
That's the problem that I have right now, is that like one false move against these rust monsters, and our heavy hitters are going to be off a weapon, or out of armor, or both, depending on how well things are rolling. Doug.
Well, maybe they could just go without any armors or weapon, and they'll just have those all the way up the hill to fight the manticore. Just by club.
Armor. Kylon, who refuses to strip down in front of who he's been traveling with for a while now. I don't think they're going to be able to be Kylon, need to strip, buddy.
I think that's going to be. It was very difficult even for the swim to have both of them take off armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get them a couple of clubs to use during this battle.
Right.
It takes a round.
Some javelins to throw.
They have a couple of javelins on them already.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I can use the grease wand, hopefully maybe try to slow them down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we can use
Bear.
Fuse grenades.
Bear wouldn't care.
Bear does not care. Bear will bite.
Bear might be your best.
I'm just thinking, Bear don't care. Like Honey Badger don't care.
I think Bear might be the best weapon against these things. Yeah.
Yeah, because he can match them speed for speed. So.
Yeah. And he bites a lot worse than they do. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he'll rip them in two. So.
And if I lose a couple of arrows, no big deal. I mean, I can buy more, but
I think that we need to have a backup plan if someone loses a weapon or some armor. I'm more concerned about hey, Doug. So let's say that Rust Monster dissolved the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Super important, family weapon.
That would be kind of like a lava thing that has molten hot lava that you hit with your family weapon, and then it dissolves your weapon that way. Yeah, it would be very similar because the first attack would make it broken automatically, and then the second would just destroy the item outright, basically disintegrating it, the metal portion.
Not something that we could reforge.
You'd have probably the hilt of it still, but the portion that Libby's shaking her head, the blade would be gone.
So it takes a round to take armor off and a round to put it on?
Oh, minutes.
Minutes.
Especially with heavy armor, I think it's 5 minutes to put it on and 2 minutes to take it off, something like that.
But if someone helps him, it halves it or something. But that would involve having one of us help Kylon, and I don't think he's gonna dig that.
Oh, the rat folk can help him.
Kylon says, well, he says, maybe I could just wear hide armor. And then I could have my other good armor down, and then after we get done with them, then I could change into the good armor.
That's not the worst idea, except did you miss the point where they can sense metal? Like, they're going to attack it. Also,
well, if we take care of the rust monsters during the daytime, if the manticore and the sabosan don't come out, then we can go back at night and take care of the manticore and sabosan.
Whoa. Why are we going to see the scary bat-like creature in the middle of the night? Why are we not going during the day, where his dark vision's not going to do him any favors?
Well, if
Kylon says, well, it doesn't come out at daytime. It's probably in a tunnel somewhere, hiding.
So let's go find it. We might be able to sneak up. No, we can't sneak up on it. Never mind. Dishonorable and whatnot.
Oh, we might be able to sneak up on it.
Well,
get to the freaking tunnel and Tor would bang everything on his
Knocking his weapon on the ground. Yeah.
Well, if we take care of the rust monsters during the daytime, then Kylon and Tor can either put on, leather or hide armor and use clubs, and then change into their plate mail after.
I think that we need to go fight Manticore in the daytime, especially if...
Right, that's what I'm saying. That if the Manticore and Sabosan don't come out in daytime, then we'll have time for them to put the armor on.
Except we were told that Manticore is not normally nocturnal, so Manticore might come join us.
Well, but if the Manticore is being controlled by the Sabosan, it may not do anything without being told to.
Doug, do we think that Manticore is being, mind controlled, or just being...
You don't know. You don't know well enough. There is, for sure, though, Delstrya would know that the Sabosan normally wouldn't have any ability to control the Manticore through, magic.
Like mind control means, but...
Yeah, unless the Sabosan actually had caster levels.
Doug.
And actually could have charmed monster or something of that nature. And in that case, it would be a much more powerful foe. That Sabosan would be really a mean thing. That would be a bad foe to face.
You trying to tell us something, Doug?
Because it could fly and then maybe do magic even at range, like a lightning bolt from 100 feet away, or something like that. That would be really bad. I hope you pack a lot of arrows. Maybe you need to buy another quiver of arrows. Maybe Tor could have a quiver that he carries for you,
I have 32 of my regular arrows left.
Oh, 32. Yeah, that'll be enough.
Okay, we're going to go shopping.
We're going to go shopping. Oh, God.
Well, we're going to have hide armor, because the boys don't have hide armor. If our plan is to go get things, we definitely don't have clubs. We're going to have to go to the shop.
We're going to definitely have to get clubs.
Jesus Christ.
Luckily, hide armor and clubs are cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap.
I love the fact that we have super scary rust monster or super scary mist.
There's a lot of scary things in
not
this
really
place.
worried about the Manticore. Manticore does not frighten me.
Mm-mm.
That thing kind of frightens me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
are we going to tell Red Tooth that we'll meet her back here in the morning?
She is fine with you actually using her warren, since it's right by the hill. If you'd like to stash your items and actually change in her territory here, and then leave your stuff there, and then come back for it, later on. And by the way, Delstrya, you're going to be able to find out that Red Tooth is chaotic neutral.
Oh.
And that she is, you will know her hit dice, right? Yes, I rolled high enough for that. You'll know that she has 6 hit dice. You will not know her class, though.
If I know our hit dice, then class comes first. The alignment was 15 plus hit dice. Class was 20 plus hit dice. Level and hit dice was 25.
Level and hit dice. Okay. Well.
So class was 20.
So you'll know the class, but not the level is what it's going to be. The class, but not the level of the class. Okay, got it.
So what's our class?
Rogue.
Rogue. Chaotic neutral.
And she will guard your stuff if you leave it.
Isn't that what Sunny is too?
She acts that way sometimes.
Oh,
but I don't
no, wait. Sunny was true neutral, wasn't she?
I'm true neutral.
Yeah.
Neutral.
I'm true neutral.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say thank you for the offer, but we have a place.
Okay. She nods. She says, okay. She says, well, if you want me to draw them out and draw some of the monsters, the rust monsters down the hill, I'll be able to get some of them away from you. So it is not the entire pack of them.
Good. We appreciate that.
Out the manticore, she says, would benefit everyone living here, especially the rat folk. We'd be able to carry about our business naturally in the evening hours and into the dark. Oh, I love it, you guys, your decisions. Okay. With that, we're going to take a little bit of a break. I'm going to get some food. I'm going to go yum, yum, yum. And then let's meet back here. And please tell me what you guys are going to do next. It sounds like you could be going a few other places, but I'm thinking you're going to do some shopping, and you'll be able to sell your stuff. And then you're going to be able to get new armor and weapons for the guys. So, which they can pay for on their own. They have enough money on their side of things. They're going to buy them on their own. So, cool. That drops AC by about 5 each person. But that's fine.
Well, it's that or lose your armor completely. So
they don't want to do that. Neither one of them. They would rather take a lot of damage than to lose their armor. That's for sure. So, yeah, they're all about that. Okay, cool. So we'll meet back in like 10 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.